Zac Lomax. Dave, you've got nothing to say on this issue?
Yeah, like me, I've got nothing positive to say anyway.
Far out.
Well, under the agreement, he's now been taken out of the game for 2 years unless he gets approval from Parramatta. And as far as I'm concerned, I think it's the right decision. And it sounds to me like they got maybe a small heads up from the judge saying that this wasn't going to happen, it wasn't going to go in his direction.
Yeah, probably. You'd have to say so because if you that's your agreement, as in like you're saying, look, he conceded that we're done.
Yep.
After the negotiations failed.
Yep.
So and because they did lose, I think Melbourne has to pick up the check for everyone's legal fees.
Yeah, it looks like it's a $500,000 cost to the Storm.
That'd be about right for the Supreme Court.
$250,000 they've got to pay the Eels.
Yeah, you're talking about a council that would charge $10,000 to $15,000 a day, and if they've got a senior crown and a junior crown and an instructing solicitor, you're up there in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. They're probably talking $50,000 a day.
You would be probably, putting that together.
They charge you $5 for a photocopy.
Oh, they are. They get rich really quick.
What's the Ryan Madison story, Jace?
So Ryan Madison, so for people that don't know, Zac Lomax wanted to go to Melbourne after walking away from his contract at Parramatta. He had an agreement that said, I won't go to any other club for 3 years. However, without your approval, Melbourne reached out and said, we want to sign him. Parramatta said no and said, look, we want either Xavier Coates, Jack Howarth, or there was another name in there. So either one of those players is a player swap for us to make it happen. Parramatta again Melbourne said no to that. Then through the latest negotiations, it was Melbourne said, we'll give you $200,000, we'll give you $300,000. They ended up offering $750,000 cash.
Yeah.
Parramatta said no.
They were going to take Ryan Madison.
No, but at the end they said that.
And $400,000 of his salary.
Yeah, so but then
he's on $700,000.
Yeah, so they ended up saying that, but when Ryan Madison said, I don't want to go to Melbourne, they said, oh, okay, but we'll still offer you $750,000 to Parra. Now Parramatta said no. So Ryan Madison, as you said, is on $700,000 plus. He's kind of on the outer at Parra. But he's also now having some CTE investigation done on him from some headaches he's been getting. He's had a few concussions. He's not a team player. I don't care what anyone says. You say he's a nice bloke, maybe a nice bloke. He is not a team player. And I think that reputation's also following him. He's knocked back to go to the Storm. And if he'd gone to the Storm, Melbourne would have taken on $400,000 of his salary and then also given Parramatta $300,000 cash.
Yeah, I know, but think of it from Ryan's point of view, right? He's going to get the same money whether he stays at Parramatta or he goes down to Melbourne, right?
Yeah, but,
so what Ryan said was, I want another year, right, on, let's say, $700,000, right? And they said no, and he goes, well, just because he's going to struggle to get a contract next year, right?
Because he's not going to be playing much this year.
That's right, but he wasn't going to be playing down there either.
He's up against Joe Chan and Lizardi, brand new second rower, in a role that's been vacated by Katoa, who's out for the season.
But let's say his body is completely rooted, right? And he really doesn't have another year in him.
But he just wants the money.
He just wants the money, right? Or he's going, well, I'll just stay at Parramatta, right?
And just play
I'll
Reggie's.
Live around the corner.
Play Reggie's.
And play Reggie's.
So you're saying basically he's conceded his career's over?
I would say that.
Then hang up the boots. But
mate,
again,
it's
Ryan's
business.
in it for him,
It's
mate.
business.
Ryan's always
It's
in it
business,
for him.
mate.
He wants the last paycheck. I don't know anyone, I've never heard of anyone that has knocked back the Storm to go to the Storm and be in that system of success at any point in their career.
I would say that he doesn't care.
And exactly right. So he knocked him back. So that left Zac Lomax now. So the Parramatta basically said...
Zac Lomax at Rugby Australia today.
Yeah, so Zac Lomax said, I want... so the Parramatta have said, sorry, I need to fix that. But Parramatta have said, we don't want money. Like, money doesn't help us on the field. We want a player. We want to make our
representative players.
We want our club to be better for this transaction. And Melbourne wouldn't come to that party and wouldn't give him a player. So Parra, rightfully so, said, we don't want your $700,000. That doesn't help us on the field. Hats off to Parra. They played this perfectly.
Yes, and they got bullied.
They did get bullied.
It doesn't look great for the way that the Storm do business, as far as I'm concerned.
No,
they're
I think
very aggressive.
Yeah, I don't care. I love that about the Storm. Mate, the Storm are built on success. It may not look good, but that's how they're a successful club. I look at how they handled it. I look at how Parramatta handled it. And I look at the Tigers handled it. I know which club is run poorly and which isn't.
Well, the Storm and the Parramatta aren't run poorly.
Exactly
the Dogs
right.
are not run poorly.
Tigers are run poorly.
They are.
Mate, Terrell May and the Tigers has said, like, I was in negotiations with Shane Richardson to stay here for my whole career. He left and I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah.
They'll lose him.
Yeah.
Because they're a poorly run club.
Yep.
So, I don't mean to digress. So, I don't think it's over for Zac Lomax. I think that if a club comes along and says, we want him, we've got this guy who Parramatta would be interested in.
Yep.
We'll do a player swap and we'll give you X amount of dollars. That'll get the deal done.
Another very well-run club is the Warriors. They're saying the same thing with Barnett.
Yeah, we didn't know that, actually. I thought they were willing to let Barnett go.
Let him go. And they're saying if you want him, you got to pay for him. So they're taking a leaf out of
Parra's book. Which is funny because Parramatta's now in the front seat to buy him.
Yeah.
Because of the salary cap. They're in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I don't think it's over. I know Zac Lomax was at Rugby Australia now having discussions, but I don't know how many wingers they need.
Yeah, true.
Because they don't.
And they've got Marky Mark coming next year.
They've got Marky Mark coming next year. They've got Jorgensen, who's a phenomenal winger. They've got Suwali now in that team on massive money. They seem to have enough outside backs.
You would have thought that the easy option for Zach would have been to go to rugby first up, not to play around in the kiddies pool.
No, I think money.
For sure.
I think they would offer him nothing at Rugby Australia because
they don't have to now, do they?
Well, they don't have any money to offer him either.
Yeah,
it's all tied up with Suwali.
They are broke.
So, and they've got the World Cup coming next year, which will be a windfall for them. But again, until then, so it'll be interesting what happens there with Zach. I mean, he's a great player, but he's done this to himself, as they called him. He's a perennial contract quitter, and he's paid the price.
And he's greedy.
Yeah, and they've called him out, and now, mate, $600,000 a year. $700,000 a year contract's done. You're not going to be earning that for the next 2 years.
I will say that if he was not as good a player as what he actually is, no one gave a shit. No one would have touched him with a 50-foot pole. People are fighting to get him in, especially as a Storm, because they really, really need him.
Yep.
With their outside backs.
But then that's on the Storm too to say, right, I will give you Jack Howarth. Like, we'll give you this. Like, the Storm need to also come to the party in the sense of Parramatta were adamant. We want a player. And the Storm said no. So, I'm sorry, but
I get it.
The Storm
I agree,
there,
mate. I support Parramatta 1,000%.
I love seeing that, mate. I love it. I think that, and we said about this earlier, no one's come out and spoken about Zac Lomax's mental health.
They have.
Oh, they have now.
They did. Yeah.
When did this happen? I missed it.
Oh no, Volandy said we need to be careful because his mental health and all that. That was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, please.
Honestly, that did happen, and I just went,
here we go. Yeah.
Back of my head.
When you don't get what you want, let's talk about their mental health.
I'm sad.
Bloody hell.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's move on then.